YouTube, here is the Ibanez stereo pedal stt-810 tremolo pedal, which there is apparently no videos of online, and let's be honest, it's a yellow wah-wah pedal and it looks cool. Well, it's a yellow wah-wah pedal enclosure. So we've got a mono in and 2 outs. I've just plugged in 2 amps to see what happens between the 2 of them. Unfortunately, I've not got a stereo mic set up in here, so the wah-wah-wah won't work. I normally do the pedal videos, the wee box thing, but I can't be bothered doing that because, I mean, it's just got that. So that's what it looks like. Just plug it in. It doesn't have a thingy on it either, a power socket, so you've got to run it on a battery. So make sure you unplug it. It's got the usual disclaimer on the bottom that you get on wah-wah pedals saying it's like, but it's worded quite nicely. Often it's a bad translation. You know, it's like if you unplug, basically it's got a stereo socket on the wee input. So not that it takes 2 signals. It's just when you plug it in, it turns the battery on. So if you unplug it, it's off. If you leave it plugged in, it's on. Which I always hated with pedals. Which is one of the reasons why I think maybe why I've never been that into pedals since then, because I remember having, it was a Behringer stomp box thing, and you know, it's one of those things, if you forget to unplug the guitar and then go to bed and wake up in the morning, it's flat because it's been on all night. So obviously if you've got a power supply, these things don't happen, but I mean that annoyed me. But this is just going back old technology styles. Why am I not on? Oh, because it's no sound. Why is that not in tune when it was in tune before I started? Yeah, so I'm using the Kraken, Bill Lawrence and a DiMarzio Super Distortion, Gibson scale, and the Orange TH30. No pedals on apart from reverb, and I'm about to turn on. This is actually, I think that I suspect the switch has been replaced, or it's a pure amazing switch, because you know, normally when you turn on a wah-wah, it's always kind of a little bit. This one it totally turns on easily. It's definitely on now. So that's a toe down, so it's like quite a low mode, but you pull it back. It's got an interesting, I think it's got like a rubber foot in below it. So basically if you pull it heel down, as in fully on, and let go of it, it kind of sits back at this sort of rate. I don't think that's working because the other amp's plugged in. Does it make any difference if I unplug the other amp? So basically an LFO, it's oscillating it, but if you pull it back and stand on it, you get the full on mega mode. But if you let go of it, it goes back to just a sort of in the background thing, which I think probably, I think it's intentional. Why don't I move the pedal around here so yeah. So I mean, tremolo's a bit of a weird one for me. I kind of was messing about with it before, and I realised that, see, if you kind of use the tremolo to hit the note before the tremolo kicks in, so you kind of make it go whoomp, whoomp, whoomp when you're playing the notes. If you hit it before when it's on, it's like obviously it's like a cycle of loud and then off. It kind of does this. So if you kind of play the note when you're on the off, it kind of goes whoa when it comes in. So there's definitely a technique to tremolo. I do have a tremolo pedal, like one of these £10 Bellcat ones. Never really got the hang of it. It's obviously a very early effect, like tremolo in itself. This used to get it on the old Fender amps back when the effects you had were tremolo, and then later on you get reverb as well, or instead of, and then I suppose you got a fuzz pedal, like after Satisfaction. It's like, but apart from that, you didn't really get effects as such. So no, you get slap back delay. So it kind of sits in that. You get it in 50s stuff. It's like a recording studio thing where you get like delay, reverb, and tremolo. I think were the all the effects at one point. It's basically all it does is just turn the volume on. It's like go like that with the volume control. Obviously, it can be used for some crazy effects. But that's clearly Had Too Much to Dream Tonight by the Electric Prunes. Had Too Much to Dream Last Night by the Electric Prunes. Definitely starts off like that. Psychedelic, man. So I'll try to turn the other amp on, which I don't know if you'll get the full effect of it. It might actually apparently do nothing, because you'll be getting, as it turns down the volume on that amp, it'll be turning the volume up on that one. Nope. You've got to plug the other amp into the socket, into the pedal to make it do it. Yeah, see, what you're not getting, it is going like that between, I'm using that Marshall and the orange. That's one where you can freak people out and maybe get people to be sick by just going wah 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 wah. It's like kind of quite unnerving. It sounds very like chorus to me. I suppose it's kind of doing the same thing. Chorus kind of doubles your signal and then sends it to a slight. So it kind of is chorus, like what you get in a jazz chorus when you've got the two speakers working off each other. So it kind try a wee bit of distortion. Jolly old British sound. I do think the pedal, you don't want to let go of it, even if I put it heel down, which is heel down, if I let go of it, it goes back to the sort of, which you may not be able to hear particularly, but it's totally there. It just gives it movement. I think it's kind of what you're really meant to use a tremolo for. Obviously, they want you to give you the option to go, because why wouldn't you? But so that's quite interesting. What it's doing there is, because these two amps are very different, the distortion pedal's kicking in on the orange much quicker. No, I'll tell you what's happening there. The distortion pedal's kicking in much quicker on the orange, but not on the Marshall, because the Marshall's just coming straight out of that pedal, whereas the orange is going into the. It's actually using the distortion pedal. So yeah, that's why it's doing that. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Definitely every film ever, when you go into like a crazy alien environment, or like a, I don't know, like a harem or something. I've definitely heard it used in films tons for atmospheric music. See, all 60s era stuff. But it's more of a subtle effect. There's a wee bit. Are they trying to? I think it's basically trying to emulate one of like a Hammond organ rotary speaker, isn't it? Kind of what it sounds like. I did actually have one of them at one point. It was a big, massive cube thing. It was huge, but it was actually just literally just a spinning speaker that you plugged your guitar into, and it was like where you could hear it flinging around the room, and it kind of made you a little bit disorientated. So, like to do it mechanically, and I think the big thing that did was at at 3 speeds it had off speed 1 and speed 2. I mean, you went between the 2 speeds. It kind of did that kind of thing where it went whoa, and it didn't sound as good on either of the normal speeds, but when you switched between them, it went woohoo. It sounded amazing. So guess what? That's they probably knew that. And that's what this pedal's designed to do. It does always sound good playing through 2 amps rather than 1, because more is better. I've not been using the Marshall. The Marshall's it's sitting basically at where the volume controls engage, so you can actually hear them. The basic amp itself's hardly on. I don't like using it because it's not mine. It needs some sort of power break in it or something so you can actually hear the amp. I mean, it sounds pretty good. It sounds great when it's at that volume. It's just it's like at 1% of what it should sound like, tone wise. You can probably hear it pulsing a bit. That's quite slow. There, see? I'm trying to do there. I'm kind of trying to make it so that I'm hitting the note when it becomes when its volume swell up the way. It's weird pulling back to turn it on. You would normally think it was a wah wah, you go wah. You know what I mean? So this one you kind of pull back the way. Well, I'm thinking what it's actually meant for is you're playing away your song. Then you go to the midi. So it's not like you use definitely having the foot pedal on it makes it a different thing from a normal tremolo pedal where it's just on or off. But it's not, you're not meant to use it like a wah wah where you kind of go bah wah wah, you know, like that sort of thing. It's more of a gradual thing when you're playing to fade it in. Or maybe not actually. So you just whenever you hit the big chord. Maybe that's what you might do with it. So maybe, or maybe just on a big chord. Fade it in. That's one of the thing is, it's one of those things. It's I don't know how you're meant to use it. Are you meant to use it? Is there a correct way, or is it like here's a thing that does some mad sound? Give it to Hendrix and see what he does with it, kind of thing. I imagine this must be before. I don't know. I'd probably put it as it's going to be mid-70s. Obviously, wah-wah pedals must have been a thing at the time, so they're sitting there thinking, well, who's not going to want a yellow wah-wah? And it's like, let's be honest, I think everyone wants a yellow wah-wah. I mean, it's off the charts, cool looking. Especially it's even the writing when it says stereo pedal. It's that amazing 70s in space computer writing. And it's a stunning looking thing. Any pedal board would be glad to have it, just purely for looks. But yes, I think if you were mad into effects, you could definitely find a use for that. Again, well, I suppose you'd have to break into it to add like a power socket, which I'm pretty sure you could definitely do it without actually drilling a hole in the cover or anything like that. And there would be a way of just getting two wires and putting them on a daisy chain thing to run it, because I mean it just runs on a 9-volt battery, so there is a way of doing it. Just thinking, if you've got it sitting on your pedal board for just in case you need it, if you leave it plugged in, the battery will run flat. But you didn't get pedal boards when that was about. I think basically anyone who had every major type of pedal in the 70s would have had to have that, because it's something different. One of these experimental things that obviously it's not a super classic, because it was a super classic, everyone they would still make it and there'd be reissues and all that, so it must have been a kind of flop and not for everyone. Maybe just the timing of it, maybe something like, I was saying there, like the Electric Prunes, sort of late 60s or Sgt. Pepper era onwards, that would have been an absolute killer thing to have. but it maybe didn't. I don't imagine it maybe came out till, you know, maybe 10 years later or something, sort of mid-70s or something. By that point, probably less of the psychedelic woo 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 sound was about, rather than, you know, people want, maybe start mid-70s, you're kind of getting into heavy metal and stuff like that now, so maybe something like that wouldn't be as useful. Yeah, so hopefully that wasn't too disappointing a review of a pedal that is not online, but I really don't know what else I can really say about it apart from me showing me how I decide to use it. I mean, it really is remarkably close to made in Japan as well. This unit contains a battery which is connected when a plug is inserted into the instrument jack. For longest battery life, always remove instrument cable from jack when not in use. Remove 4 rubber feet for access. Serial number 23373. Yeah, so it's totally cool. It's actually not actually that dissimilar in colour to this guitar, and the way the camera, but even without the camera, it's kind of, maybe put that there as part of the guitar. You could play it and go, or maybe you have it on your chest, maybe. So you just bring this. Yeah, that switch does look original. It just works very well, and it's just got the same. You know, it's you're basically operating a treadle on a, I can't remember, it's a rack and pinion or whatever you call it. The same as like the way a wah wah pedal does. All you're really doing is moving a pot with your foot, like exactly the way a wah wah pedal works. Yeah. So cheers for the shot of that, Ronnie. It's super impressive. If someone was really after it, he's not really had a shot of it. I do a video on this. No one's ever done it. So, if this is something that's been on your holy grail list, give me a shout. I'll be able to put you in contact with the guy who owns it. He might sell it. I don't know. They're not cheap things. Well, I can't class anything that costs like over £100 as cheap. Because, well, I suppose a cheap car. Yeah, it's cheaper than a car. Yeah, like the cheapest car. But very cool. Rock on!